Hey guys, welcome back to another video and another installment into my Ghosty Glam series. If you guys are new here, then I sit down once a fortnight and tell you some stories about some of the most haunted places in the world whilst I do my makeup. So if you like ghost stories and makeup, please don't forget to like this video and hit that subscribe button, and also hit the notification bell to get notified of when I upload. All products that I use will be listed in the description box for you guys. And today's topic has a dark past and is the hauntings of Poveglia Island in Italy. So, Poveglia Island has been voted as one of the most haunted places in the entire world. And it's no wonder why, due to the sheer horrors that happened there. So this tiny 18-acre island is not far from St. Mark's Tower, which is on mainland of Venice. And the island has been abandoned for decades, but is rumoured to be the home of over 100,000 spirits. That many spirits in a cramped little island, I can understand why it's voted one of the most haunted places in the world. So, regarding the awful history surrounding Poveglia, now it starts with the deadly disease known as the bubonic plague. Now at the time, the Black Death was devastating Europe. It devastated the UK and just every surrounding country. And the Venetian people found themselves in such a desperate situation. So Venice was a perfect trading centre, and even though it brought wealth and power and trade and everything, it also brought the plague with it, because so many people was travelling to Venice for trade. So their solution to the plague outbreak was to keep it as far away from Venice as possible. So Poveglia proved to be a great location and destination to detain incoming ships for a period of 40 days. Now, this is where the term quarantine comes from. We are all familiar with the term quarantine by now, with COVID and everything, but it originated from the word quaranta, which means 40 in Italian. I probably completely ballsed that up. I do apologise to any Italian people that watch my videos. I don't know Italian. Even when I went to Italy, I spoke in English. So I do apologise if I balls any Italian words up in this video. I'm sorry. So this method took a far more deadly turn, as Venice would then send anyone showing even the mildest symptoms of the plague to the island. Now, the island was crowded, and back then they didn't know what social distancing was or anything like that. And to be fair, on a crowded island you probably couldn't social distance. So the plague just ran wild. And even if you weren't infected before you went there, like if you was on one of the ships, like the trading ships, and you weren't infected, you definitely would catch it whilst you were there. And your chances of leaving Poveglia once you was there were extremely slim. It was like next to no chance of you leaving Poveglia, basically. Now, the dead were thrown into one of the island's mass graves, and some of the workers who were burying the dead mistook some of the sick people as already being dead, so they were buried alive in a mass grave full of disease-ridden bodies. These corpses were then set on fire, so those that weren't already dead and were thrown into these mass graves would then be burnt alive. So people just kind of thought going to Poveglia or being sent to Poveglia was a death sentence, and they weren't wrong, really. So Poveglia remained in isolation until 1814, by which time Napoleon had conquered Venice along with other places, and he used the island to store his weapons during the Napoleonic Wars. Now this information got leaked that he was storing his weapons there, and this led to many battles on the island over these weapons, which meant more bloodshed, basically. This island's not having much luck, really, is it? So by 1922, Poveglia was back to being used to confine people, and a hospital for the mentally ill was built. But it ended up being the stuff of nightmares. Like, the things you dream about in nightmares was this hospital, basically. So according to legend, a doctor was just as sick as the patients, and due to the isolation the island offered, it gave him opportunity to carry out some dreadful experiments on patients. So he carried out lobotomy trials, and he used a wide range of tools including hammers, chisels and drills, and he wouldn't use any anaesthesia or sanitation. So a lot of these people actually died from these lobotomies that he carried out. He believed that lobotomies were a great way to cure mental illness, and many of these were carried out and performed against the patient's will. It's also said that he saved his darkest experiments for special patients, and these would be done up in the bell tower of the hospital. However, no one really knows what these experiments were and what happened to these special patients. So just a quick side note, I've cut my crease off camera to save a bit of time. So the doctor fell to his death from the island's bell tower, the same bell tower that he apparently did these special experiments on. Now, some sources say that he was driven to madness and guilt over his barbaric treatments of patients, and, you know, died that way. Others say he was pushed by one of the patients seeking revenge. Now, whether this is the ghost of one of the patients seeking revenge or an actual patient that was still alive, no one knows. And others suggest that he threw himself off to escape the plague victim ghosts that haunted him. Whatever way it was, we will never know what actually caused him to fall. However, supposedly a nurse witnessed his fall, claiming that he actually survived the initial fall, but that a ghostly mist overcame his body and choked him to death. Somehow, after all of this and everything that happened at the hospital, it remained open until 1968. Now, there is reason to suggest that an old people's home opened after this. I couldn't find a lot of evidence on this, but some sources say that there was an old people's home there. Others, I just couldn't find a lot on it, so I haven't really included anything about it. I just thought I'd give it a quick mention because you may do your research and you may be like, oh, but you missed out about the old people's home. I did see on like one website that I looked at that there was possibly an old people's home. But like I say, I couldn't find a great deal of evidence on it. So after the hospital closed, the island was sold on to a private owner. But he, however, very quickly sold the island to another private owner. Now, in both cases, the new owners couldn't bear to spend any time there due to the atmosphere being so heavy and morbid, and there were strange sounds occurring. And after this, the island was left abandoned. Kind of says it all, really. So just a quick side note, I've done my eyeliner and mascara off camera just because we are nearly at the end of this story and I want to finish my makeup. So moving on to today, there's no surprise that Poveglia has attracted ghost hunters and paranormal investigators and just people who are interested in that side of life. And some TV shows have actually been granted access to the island, including the US show Ghost Adventures. I watched that show. I actually haven't seen that episode, so it's an episode I'm going to look at. But other than those that have been granted access, it is completely off limits and illegal for other visitors to go. Now in 2016, firefighters actually had to rescue 5 Americans from the island after a passing boat heard them screaming. Now, it's believed they were screaming in fear because of all the spirits on the island. But anyhow, they had to be rescued by firefighters. Now, Venice have actually attempted to place the island up for auction in hope to gain financially from both the sale and any additional tourism if the buyer was to renovate the island into a resort. But all deals for this just fell through. They had absolutely no luck whatsoever in selling the island, probably because of its dark history and haunted past and everything. I would imagine it's something they're going to keep trying to do, but I don't know. So you would expect, with the brutal history of the island, for some lost souls to still linger, and you wouldn't be wrong, with more than 50% of the island's soil being composed of human ash. However, this has caused the island to have thriving grape vineyards, with those who dare to visit only going seasonally to harvest the fruit. human bones still continue to wash up on the shores of the island, causing even fishermen to steer clear for fear of picking up human remains in their nets. Now, even the visitors, visitors have been banned from going to Poveglia for decades, but many still take boats to the island to experience the horrors of it, to see whether it's true, all of that. Many do return shaken, reporting a sensation of being watched, while others report being scratched or pushed by unseen forces. Now, some entities have also been said to push visitors into walls or chase them down corridors of the abandoned hospital. Visitors also report seeing shadows on the walls moving along with them as they explore the hospital. Reports from one group of visitors say upon entering the abandoned mental hospital, they felt a heavy sense of dread, followed by a deep voice warning them, saying, "Leave immediately and do not return." This group left immediately. Psychics who have also been taken to the island claim there is an energy that only can be described as malignant, I can't pronounce that word either, with the presence of angry spirits lingering there, that some psychics and paranormal experts are so frightened to ever return to the island. And that's all I have for you guys on Poveglia Island. I hope you liked this video. It's definitely a darker one in the series. Obviously it is forbidden to visit this place, so I wouldn't recommend it as much as I want to go. I wouldn't recommend it because you might be left scarred for life. But yeah. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up, comment down below, share and subscribe. If you have any places you want to recommend to me, then please leave them in the comment section down below. I do reply to my comments and I do read all of my comments. So if you have any suggestions for places, leave them in the comment section down below for me and I will check them out. Also, all products will be listed down below along with all of my social media as usual. I used a couple of new products today, so you know they will be in the description box for you guys. Also hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell to get notified of when I upload. Usually every Thursday, unless I get sick, and then I might not upload, but yeah, usually every Thursday. And that's it. I shall see you in the next video. Bye guys.